Our next guest helps gamers find the PS5 and Xbox Series X by tweeting where and when they'll be back on the shelves. And he's amassed quite a following in the process. Joining me now is Matt Swider, U.S. Editor-in-Chief at TechRadar. Thanks a lot for joining us here. So why is PS5 and Xbox Series X still sold out? What is going on here?
Well, it really comes down to the silicon, and you can't find graphics cards, you can't find computers in some cases, and even cars. It's really a scarcity of resources, and part of that is because we've bought so many PCs. Everybody's work from home these days, and there's been a rush on PCs, and then that means there's a rush on components. So it's the scarcity of resources that's really sent these consoles. Our work is now dovetailing and harming our play. So we don't have the video game consoles for that reason.
So how are you coming across the information? Because looking at your Twitter feed here, wildly popular, nearly 330,000 followers. And I give you credit because you do a good job of putting out these social media. There you go. Look at all those red alarms. Like in politics and breaking news, that's what we do for like a big quote out of Capitol Hill. But you're getting this information out there and people want to see it immediately. How are you learning what is where?
Well, a lot of it comes down to patterns. So usually Target goes in the morning on Thursdays and it's usually really early in the morning. I feel bad for the people on the West Coast because they want to sell the console before they open up their stores on the East Coast. So it comes down to patterns. Sometimes it's relationships. Walmart will give us a heads up. GameStop will give us a heads up. And then sometimes it's employees. So employees have been direct messaging me and telling me, oh, yeah, we got inventory in. I'm not supposed to tell you, but they tell me anyway because they really want to help out the average gamer versus the people who are buying the consoles and reselling them at a higher price.
So I like the fact that I'm going to give you credit, though, as like a journalist to journalist here, because you're using your relationships to basically give you the inside scoop. You're breaking information that the average consumer wants to know because you're viewed as a good faith player in the space. You got people on the know. They're giving you the info and you're getting it out there. That's fair. So I give you credit. So thank you for that public service here. Any favorite success stories, Matt? Is there anyone you've been able to like help get the information out there and someone comes back to you and says, Matt, you have no idea what you just did for me or my family? Anything like that you like?
Absolutely. So I have had about 10,000 replies, and a lot of them are just the console and people thanking me. Some of them are the console in their car as they went to go pick it up and the seatbelt wrapped around the console. I find those really funny. But it's the people when they're smiling faces. The touching things like soldiers finally saying, I've had this form of entertainment. I need to take my mind off of everyday stuff. And then it's kids crying. So I don't like to make kids cry normally, but when they get surprised by their parents because they were promised this thing on Christmas and then they get it on Christmas and their parents probably said, oh, it's January, February, March, we're headed into April, and they still don't have the video game console they've been begging for. They're going to school at home and remote learning. They really want this console and they've wanted it for months. So those are the most touching things that I've seen in my replies.
Matt Swider, the man who likes to make kids cry, but in the best way possible, though. The absolute best way possible. Let me stress that there. Nothing bad. And I love those images about military vets, men and women who come back in uniform. Absolutely. And the fact that you're able to help them, Matt, is such a beautiful thing. So thank you for that. A lot of people out there in the space, Matt, they're going to come across there and they say, God, how do I make sure that I'm not getting scammed? I'm not following some jabroni link on Craigslist or some other. What advice do you have for people to avoid that fate?
I would say multiple times a day, I get these stories from people that get a direct message from somebody or go on Facebook Marketplace and they use different apps like Apple Pay Cash, Zeal, or another app. It's not PayPal, but they're using apps where there's no guarantee that you'll get it. Cash App is the other one. And there's no fraud protection. So that's like the 21st century of Western Union. You're sending it anonymously across a wire, and anonymously across the internet these days, and you don't have any fraud protection like you would with PayPal or something with built-in protection. So that's the biggest tell right there. No one is looking to give you a console for $550 when it costs $500 and it's sold out. So if it's readily available, if it's too good to be true, Don't buy into it. Even message me. People message me all the time, and I have to be curt with them. I say just scam. Like that's all I can reply, because there are so many messages like that. But I want to make sure people are protected and they're going to the right places.
I love to think that you're just sending back some people one word scam. Just for their own good, and just because you're overwhelmed with thousands and thousands of requests. When do you anticipate retailers are actually going to have the supplies here and things will be a bit more normal, or is this by design and this could be the way things are for quite some time?
I think we're in for a bit of a surprise. So while inventory has been going up little by little, according to my warehouse resources at Best Buy and Target, there hasn't been enough. I would say in July we'll start seeing more Xboxes and PlayStations in stock. Maybe not on shelves, but the thing that may surprise people is at the end of the summer, if you're able to get the console, you might not be able to get it in October, November, and December when Black Friday and Cyber Monday really heat up. So get it while you can is my suggestion.
I'm out of time. What's your favorite console and what's your favorite game?
So far, I've unwrapped this. I've had trouble trying to get it, but I'm looking forward to playing Spider-Man on this and a couple of other PlayStation games. But a lot of the games, the good ones, haven't been announced yet, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Well, when they are, I hope you'll consider coming back on the show. I've loved this interview, Matt. Congratulations on all the good faith work you're doing on behalf of people. Matt Sweater, U.S. Editor-in-Chief over at Tech Radar, the man to follow, because he's the man in the know. Thanks a lot, Matt. Really good to have you.